San Marcos. Sunbelt Conference football is coming up on ESPN+. Alongside Keith Moreland, I'm Brain Freeman, and Keith, the cross-division matchup. This should make for a fun night of college football.
There's no question about it. Has there been a team, Brant, anywhere in college football that's been more fun than App State in the month of September? I don't know who they are if they are. They have been fantastic.
They really have been. The Mountaineers have made a habit of making headlines this season, starting with a wild shootout at the opener against North Carolina, a Hail Mary against Troy on the Rock, and a lot of headlines in between.
Yeah, you just look at it. They scored 40 points in the fourth quarter, dropped one to North Carolina in the opener in Boone. Then they make their first trip to Texas, win a game in College Station, set the world on fire. That brings game day to Boone, North Carolina. And at the end of this ball game, it's one of those things you just don't see very often when you have a Hail Mary answered to win the ball game there. And then last week, they start getting it going offensively, and they are a really good offensive club.
The Bobcats, meanwhile, as you look at App State last week, you mentioned it, Keith, able to breathe a little bit easier. 49-0 win over the Citadel. Chase Bryce, a big night.
Yeah, he was just brilliant. You can see 67% through the air, 5 touchdowns total with that running touchdown. They've been outstanding. On the other side, home sweet home for Texas State. They have played very well here in their home stadium. They have turned it over on the road. That's been the difference. Got to take care of the football.
It is worth noting that App State will be the toughest opponent the Bobcats will have faced here at home. A look at what's at stake in this game. The Mountaineers have not dropped back-to-back Sun Belt games since 2014 in their first 2 ever Sun Belt games played. And for the Bobcats, 0-6 all time against App State and trying to pick up their first ever win over the Mountaineers, and we will see Jake Spavital's offense on the field first.
Yeah, App State won the toss, deferred to the second half, so this should be a good one. Should be a great atmosphere here tonight.
Michael Hughes, the kickoff, this game underway on a fair catch, and will put the Bobcats at the 25-yard line. A look now at the impact players when Texas State has the football tonight, Keith. The Bobcats have got to be able to run the football.
Yeah, and you look at that, that's going to put a lot on these running backs. You just look at them right there. When App State has the ball, you'll see what they do. They're running back and Christian Horn. For Texas State, it's going to be a lot on Calvin Hill. See if he can be healthy. That's going to be important as we watch this game.
Lane Hatcher, the Bobcat quarterback. Look at his numbers on the year. 3rd of the conference in touchdown passes, also 2nd in interceptions. A quick strike for the Bobcats on the first play from scrimmage. That is Charles Brown on the catch for the Bobcats after a short pickup. Now we'll look at the impact players for the Bobcats when they are on offense. You look at Marcel Barbie in the receiving game and Lincoln Perry in the backfield.
Yeah, and the other part of that is you've got to find a way to block Nick Hampton. If you don't, you're going to have a long night. He is a guy that can get a lot of pressure.
Screen here for the Bobcats as Ashton Hawkins, who weaves his way just short of the line to gain. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 1. And Hawkins has been a big-time target for Texas State this season.
Yeah, and we weren't sure how much we were going to see him, and he comes out and is involved in the second play. And boy, this is a big play early in this game. Established some momentum for the Bobcats.
Texas State was just 2 for 12 on 3rd downs last week. Needing a yard to convert. This is Hatcher to the air, and a first down catch is made just shy of the 40-yard line. Charles Brown, his 2nd catch of the series, and the Bobcats avoid an early 3-and-out.
Yeah, but you look at Stephen Jones and Nick Ross, the strong safety. These guys in the secondary for the Mountaineers, they are sure tackles. They are very aggressive. You might have an opportunity to get a double move on some of these guys because they really do anticipate moves.
Opening possession of the game. Bobcats trying to bounce back from a loss to JMU last week. Quick strike, another completion. Lane Hatcher going underneath a App State player, slow to get up at the 46-yard line. And we'll check on the fallen player for the Mountaineers. And it looked like the player, Ethan Johnson, true freshman from Huntersville, North Carolina, who has played in every game in this true freshman season of his is the one that's down.
I didn't want to speculate, but a lot of times that sure did look like a shoulder that he got nicked. And
was trying to wrap up Julian Ortega-Jones, who had the catch. And they're looking at him right now. You look at this App State team, mentioned the Bobcats are coming off of a loss last week to JMU, while the Mountaineers won last week over the Citadel 49-0. The week prior, Keith, they dropped a game to James Madison, a game in which they led 28-3.
Yeah, and what a comeback and what a finish to that ball game. There's no question. And James Madison, you hate to think and say this, but that's a little bit of surprise to a lot of folks in the Sun Belt. But anybody that's followed college football at all the levels knows that James Madison plays a really good football.
Good to see Ethan Johnson back up and going to the sidelines. After the 7-yard completion to Ortega-Jones, one more look here, and Johnson gripping that right shoulder, held back to the sidelines. 2nd and 3, Hatcher to the air again. Marcel Barbie the catch, shoved back by Stephen Jones. And right now, Keith, a lot of 1-2 get the ball out for this offense.
Yeah, and Lane Hatcher is right on time. You can see his timing. He's got great footwork right now. Ball's coming out of his hands in a hurry, knows exactly where he wants to go. And that's a lot of film work during the week. Brant, to know, hey, if they show us this defense, we're going right here.
Hatcher, 5 completions on this series. He had 13 all of last week. Lincoln Perry with the carry, and the former Arkansas State Red Wolf. First carry of the night, a good one to the App State 42.
Well, nice job up front. This offensive line is put together a little bit. Few guys missing, guys moving around a little bit in that offensive line, and they've done a good job so far.
Last 2 games for Perry, 36 carries. Better than 4.5 yards per carry. He's played well. In the backfield again with Hatcher on 2nd down and 4. Perry again, cutting to his left, finds a lane. Lincoln Perry wrapping up the football and carries it inside the 30, but this could come back. Penalty marker back at the 37-yard line.
Yeah, this is right on the outside. This usually will. You saw in the replay right there. You get out on the edge, Brant, and those hands get out the side the shoulder pads. It's going to bring laundry, and that's exactly what happened right there. If he could have kept his hands in, I don't believe he would have got the call, but when that hand slipped out on his shoulder pad, it's going to back it up.
In our conversation with Jake Spavital earlier this week, talked about every time they seem to do something right, they take 2 steps back. They get big plays in offense only to be negated by plays like that on penalties. As Perry drops a swing pass. And so just like that, after a great run inside the 25, you're faced with 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, instead of being in scoring zone, now you're in. You got to block them up right now, because I will guarantee you the Mountaineers will be coming after Lane Hatcher right here. But you talked about that 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You don't want a 2-step dance on a football field.
Not with these Mountaineers on defense especially. So good defensively. You look there at one of the captains, Stephen Jones. A lot of experience on this App State defense. 3rd and 10. First possession of the game. 4-man rush, App State. Hatcher slings it complete inside the 35 and a 1st down on a bullet throw to Jalen Banks.
Well, that was a deep whip route. Jalen Banks comes down, comes to the middle, and then implants that right foot, bounces back to the outside. Had to have great blocking for that route to develop, because it takes a long time to run that route. Great job up front for the pitch and catch 1st down.
Banks, such a big weapon a year ago. That, though, just his 8th catch of the year. 1st down for the Mountaineer, 31. Hatcher, well protected as all day, fires a juggling catch. Inside the 20, secured by Marcel Barbie. Lane Hatcher on the opening drive, now 7 of 8.
Well, how about Barbie? 2 guys, and Banks, both of those guys are very important to this offense. Barbie has got it going. 10 catches in the last 2 ball games.
Had just 2 in the first 3 games combined. Bobcats now in the red zone where they have played well this season. From the Mountaineer 19. Hatcher looking, end zone, a lot of contacts. There's a flag. Barbie defended by Milan Tucker. And they'll get the Mountaineers for pass interference.
Yeah, just a lot of contact all the way down that time.
Defense number 0, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That is our head official, Wayne Winkler, tonight. And Tucker to the sidelines here.
This is going to be down inside the 5-yard line. First and goal now. And you just mentioned it. Got to come away with 7 when you get in the scoring zone.
The Bobcats have scored in 19 of their last 20 trips inside the red zone with 14 touchdowns. First down and goal. Hatcher, play fake, shot to the end zone, and it's picked off. Intercepted to the end zone by Dexter Lawson.
Well, this is a really great job by Dexter Lawson. Grant, he comes off of his receiver when he sees the route to the inside and then bounces back and just steps in it. Lane Hatcher never saw him coming. That's a really nice job to adjust off of your receiver back to the receiver in the end zone and then goes to the ground.
That is the first red zone turnover of the season for the Bobcats as we look at Appalachia State. Again, some of the impact players for them on offense. Christian Horn at wide receiver, the leading receiver for App State. And we mentioned Nate Noel at running back. The reason why, Keith, we've been notified Cameron Peoples did not make the trip. App State's leading rusher not available tonight.
Yeah, you're going to see how that comes into play.
First pass of the game incomplete from Chase Bryce to Miller Gibbs. Let's talk more about the Mountaineer quarterback, senior from Grayson, Georgia. Second-year transfer out of Duke, putting up big numbers this season.
He is a guy that really understands the offense. These are tremendous numbers, especially right down at the bottom. 15 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions on the season so far.
Team record 6 touchdown passes in the opener against North Carolina. 4 coming in the fourth quarter. Second down and 10. This is Noel, the returning Nate Noel. Big game of the opener against the Tar Heels. He's only played in 1 game since. And the Mountaineers are faced with third down.
Yeah, he's a different type of back. He's a slasher. He's one of those guys that he likes to run on angles, gets north and south in a hurry. And already a third down.
This a very good Mountaineer offense, but one area in which they have struggled has been third down. 4 for 17 over the past 2 games. Bryce steps up and throws, and that is a conversion on third down, hitting Noel underneath, and the Mountaineer drive continues.
Well, I tell you what, veteran guy, great presence in the pocket. He looked first for the deep out, wasn't there, checked it down, got the first down.
This is the 31st career start for Chase Bryce. A record at App State of 13-6. About 6 minutes gone by, first quarter. Daetrick Harrington stacked up. He'll lose yardage. Bobcats, good pursuit defensively. Nelson Mbanasor, the transfer from Texas Tech, and it brings up second down.
Well, that was a big bear hug. He was sitting right in the hole. Nowhere for Noel to go. It's going to cost him a couple of yards behind the chains now.
Mentioned Harrington, another one of these long-time App State vets. He's been on the roster since 2017. Tonight, 38th game as a Mountaineer. Here's Bryce, second down and 12. Quick throw and a catch across the 40 will make this third down and short, hitting Caden Robinson.
Robinson with a real nice stop. It caught the Bobcats in a zone. And he just finds that soft spot right there in between the nickel and the linebacker and just stops right there, gives a good target to Chase.
That'll look at London Harris coming off a career game last week. 15 tackles against James Madison. Bryce and the Mountaineers in a pro formation here. Out of the eye. Noel,
He's short.
don't think he got it. Needed the 43, got the 42. Brian Holloway on the stop. And what does Sean Clark do here?
They had Larkins, the tight end, playing fullback that time as a lead blocker.
App State is tied for the conference lead in fourth down conversions with 9.
And they go as much as anybody. Got to be disciplined, though, defensively and stay on sides.
From the pistol. Run play. And spotted the football. It is awfully close. Very close for Noel. Bobcat sideline defenders on the field think they got the stop. Almost certainly we'll see a measurement here.
Where if they put the nose of the football where the line judge coming in from the west side of the field, this ball's going to come up short.
Again, they need the 43-yard line. And they spot the ball short, and the Bobcats take over.
That is a reviewable play. But great defense right there, and a great stop by the defense of Texas State.
And look at the defensive penetration here. You have a player shooting right up the middle, DeJordan Mask, the one that finishes the play, but I think, Keith, it was that initial surge from Sione Tupou.
That is Tupou that he gets there. No review. Ball right back over to the Bobcats.
And now Hatcher trying to shake off the interception he threw in the end zone. Defense gets a stop. Offense takes over inside of midfield. Hatcher swings. Perry, defender in pursuit. Perry evades him, breaks the tackle. Down the sidelines, Lincoln Perry shoved out inside the red zone. And Lincoln Perry, a good play to start this drive.
He has established himself now as a go-to guy he in the passing game and the running game. You talked about how many touches, Brant, that he had in the last 2 ball games.
Perry was able to get around Andrew Parker. Sean Clark noting that play has to improve from his linebackers and safeties. A missed opportunity there. After a gain of 24 yards. Hatcher steps up, throws, pass caught. Inside the 10, Barbie another catch. And it is goal to go once again for Texas State.
Barbie does a great job here of shielding the defender with his body. Barbie's a big man. He's got great height and strength, and he just shields himself. The defender away from the football comes down, gets 1 foot in bounds. And this is 1st and goal at the 5.
Now remember, on 1st and goal, on the previous possession, the first play was a throw. It was picked. What do the Bobcats call for here? Goal to go from the Mountaineer 5. This is Perry up the middle. Lincoln Perry twisted down to the 2.
I don't change anything. I think you got to line this ball up and run it again.
And you see the Bobcats are going bigger here. Receivers come off.
They go with an extra lineman here.
I believe you have 3 tight ends, 2 running backs. Look at this formation. Have you seen this before, Keith?
No, it's a loaded formation.
And now it shifts. More of a pistol here for Hatcher. Perry off the right side, stuffed, and it's 3rd and goal.
Good job by the front of the Mountaineers. Did a really good job of getting underneath and getting a push. They were in the backfield before Perry could make any type of initial move. In fact, when you have to go lateral at the goal line, you're in trouble. You need to be north and south. Could be a pass off of this one.
3rd and goal. 3 tight ends. No receivers. Perry. Nice move into the end zone for the touchdown. What a cutback there by Lincoln Perry.
A little jump stop. Just bounced outside, thought he was going to the sidelines, planted that right foot, got north and south right there into the end zone.
Stephen Jones had a direct shot at Perry. And there you said it. Almost a Euro step there to pay dirt. And the Bobcats capitalize on the defense's turnover on downs. And Texas State has struck first. Point after coming from Seth Keller. Under 5 to go in the first quarter. Texas State on top of the Mountaineers, 7-0. You're watching Sunbelt Conference football on ESPN+. A 5-play, 42-yard drive, 2 minutes, 24 seconds ends on Lincoln Perry's first touchdown as a Bobcat. And Keith, the offense on the first drive of the game turns it over in the end zone. Defense gets a stop, and this time the offense able to capitalize.
Yeah, and you got to love it. That's why you got a veteran quarterback like Lane Hatcher. You know, he's got to forget that pick. You just got to throw it out of your memory and come back. Defense does get that stop, and you go down and take a lead, which they have played well with a lead, have the Bobcats here at home.
Mason Shipley back to kick for the Bobcats. Milan Tucker back to return. And here is the kick. Tucker from the 5 on the return. Milan Tucker across the 30. Flags flying all over the place. And this could be a hold against App State. Mountaineers, that one costly penalty earlier in the quarter. Second one of the game coming up.
Holding receiving team number 34. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
And the Mountaineers will start inside of their own 20-yard line. 4:46 left in the first. Texas State 7, App State nothing. On top, 7-0, under 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Grant Freeman, Keith Moreland. Let's now check in for the first time with Coral Riggs down to the sidelines. Coral.
Brant, it's no secret that App State has played in some electric college football environments this season. Head coach Sean Clark said they relish in those opportunities, and that's what college football is all about. Texas State head coach Jake Spavital said they need this crowd to be disruptive today for this team to find success. They're battling a lot of injuries for Texas State. You'll see guys like Dalton Cooper, Calvin Hill, and Ashton Hawkins all battling some injuries, but they're out there today, but they need this crowd behind them to find success today against App State. Brant?
All right, appreciate that, Coral. Bobcats on defense for the second time. Got a turnover on downs on App State's first possession of the game. Following the flag on the kick return, Mountaineers setting up inside the 10. Bryce, play fake. He's going deep, and that pass is incomplete. Near midfield, Caden Robinson defended by Cordell Rogers, who has played very well this season.
Cordell Rogers has been outstanding. This ball just a hair underthrown, Brent. He was open, had a chance. The ball sort of fluttered a little bit coming out of Bryce's hands. Hung up in just enough time to recover and knock it away.
Wind slightly to his back, about a 10-mile-per-hour breeze here this evening. From inside the 10, Harrington off the left side. Bobcats all over that. And Keith, when visiting with Sean Clark, asking about what areas do you feel like you can improve, and he noted the running game. And when you add in the fact that Cameron Peoples not available tonight, this run game is going to be challenged quite a bit.
Yeah, he said we just need to be more consistent in the running game. He says we'll get a good run, and then we won't be consistent now. This is a passing down here, though.
3rd and 9. Flags in. False start. Appalachian State.
False start. Offense, number 17. After distance to the goal, we play 3rd down.
They're backed up into the closed end of Bobcat Stadium here.
That is Troy Everett, redshirt freshman from Roanoke, Virginia. Player that has a high ceiling. And that's saying something for this App State offensive line. So good over the years. A unit they nicknamed the Bulls. It's been rated as one of the top offensive lines in the country the past few seasons. From their own 4. Well short of the first down. Bobcats have got to be careful. A lot of jawing.
This could draw a flag.
And there you see the receiver go down to Sean Davis. Bobcats fortunate they weren't penalized for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Oh, absolutely. You get excited, made a heck of a play to get it done, but you got to keep your senses about you. That's really fortunate that the flag didn't come out.
Cordell Rogers had the tackle. Jaron Morris, I think, was the one that knocked him down. Here's Clayton Howell, first punt of the night. Back to return for the Bobcats is Rontavius Groves, and Texas State for second straight possession will start in Mountaineer territory. 2:45 to go in the first. Bobcats the early lead over the Mountaineers.
.244 to go first quarter, 7-0 Bobcats. And the way they've gotten there has been the Germantown, Tennessee native Lincoln Perry has been outstanding in the passing game. And then watch this move right into the end zone right here. And Bobcats lead 7-0. He's been outstanding, Brant, in this first quarter. Bobcats in Mountaineer territory again.
Bobcats in the first 5 games of the year started in opponent territory 3 times. They've done it twice tonight. There's an overthrow from Hatcher to Hawkins. And it's second down when visiting with Jake Spavital about his quarterback. How can he improve? One of the things he said was he puts too much air under the ball at times, especially with downfield passes.
Yeah, and some of that is touch and feel. That time, a little bit too much on it. But I really like the way he responded after throwing the pick in the end zone.
2nd down and 10. Pressure coming. Here's a screen. Caught inside of midfield. This is a tight end screen. Bobcats haven't utilized the tight ends very much. And that is the first career catch for Titus Lyons, a redshirt freshman from Pottsboro, Texas.
I'll tell you what, this is really well set up, really well done. And Lyons does a great job of running with the football after he gets it. You see Hatcher just drops it over the top. Watch Lyons cut it back into the traffic right here.
Good blocking downfield, Dalton Cooper and Alex Castilla. After the first down pickup of 11. There's a quick throw, Lyons again. This is going to come back, though, a flag. And this is going to be a hold against the Bobcats.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. You play first down.
That's Richard West for Texas State, first-year transfer from Texas A&M Commerce.
Got his hands outside. You just cannot. Those referees and the center judge, which is behind the offensive line, there's 2 officials behind the offensive line, and you get your hands outside those shoulder pads, you're going to get called on a regular basis.
How about the yardage disparity so far? 119 for the Bobcats, 27 for the Mountaineers. Hatcher throws. Hawkins makes a move to the 40. Just hit the B button on him. Hits it again. Hawkins making moves. Got slammed down to the turf back at the 35. Forward progress, though, moves the football to the App State 27.
I tell you what, he stopped on a dime. Now he just threw the brakes on. Oh, watch this. Whoop. That's just one. That's the second time we've seen a Bobcat player just stop and go all in the same movement.
Able to make Ronald Clark miss. Hawkins, 6th in the country in catches. Held to just 3 last week, a season low against James Madison. From the Mountaineer 27, Perry running to the outside, finds that cutback lane, and then got cut down by Kevon Hagler, sophomore from Hartsville, South Carolina, as we wind inside of the final minute of the opening quarter.
Didn't see a flag, but a helmet went flying and an official ran up to a Bobcat lineman, but no flag on the play, so it'll be 2nd down.
The helmet came off of Hansky Payland, one of the captains on this defense, so he has to come out for a play. All Texas State so far, but it's early and it's only a 1-score game. Here's Hatcher on 2nd and 6. Long handoff for Lincoln Perry up along that hash mark. Stopped short of the first down by a yard. 3rd and short coming up.
Yeah, good cut back that time. He felt the soft spot. The zone blocking to the top of your screen. He feels it soft back to the left. Cuts it up. Gets north and south in a hurry. Makes it a very manageable 3rd down. These yards are tough, though. You need to get one here to keep this drive alive.
Texas State very good at home this year. 2-0, but this, again, their stiffest test at home. So far, playing well. Will they get one more snap off before the quarter change? They will. Hatcher on the keeper, doesn't run a lot, and he should have enough for the first down.
This is going to be close. I think he lunged forward just enough.
And we'll step aside. 1 quarter in the books. Bobcats on top of the Mountaineers after 1. Talked about Ashton Hawkins for the Bobcats. He's in the traffic there on the sidelines. Hawkins, again, what a target he has been this season for Texas State. 6th the country in catches, 14th in touchdown catches as well. And here in a moment, we'll get more on Hawkins from Coral Riggs. But first, the upcoming play. Bobcats did convert on 3rd and 1 on the Hatcher sneak. First play, second quarter. Bobcats up 7-0. That pass over the middle, dangerous and incomplete. Brings up second down. Cora, what do you have with Ashton Hawkins?
Brant, a word Jake Spavital uses to describe Ashton Hawkins is confident. And for good players, confidence is a non-negotiable. Jake Spavital has been challenging Hawkins in different ways all season, and he continues to rise to the occasion. His teammates like to use the term crazy hands when referring to Hawkins, and I was told an Odell Beckham-like catch may not be out of the question. Brant?
Offsides, App State. Hatcher takes his shot, and the pass broken up. But again, Hatcher knew he had a free play. Offsides will be called here against App State. And you look there, Keith, at Hawkins, a program record 13 catches at Baylor. And yeah, the man they call crazy hands has crazy good hands.
He does have great hands, and when he's been good enough that his head coach is developing plays just for him. You put those guys in the best position you can, and you develop some swings, some inside pressures to let the ball get out of the quarterback's hands and let him do things in space. And second down after that free play.
Just for clarity, it is the second quarter, by the way, not the first. After the flag, second down and 5. Perry off the right side, gets to the edge. Perry gets brought down near the 10. And short of the first down by about a yard. And then a Bobcat tight end Tyler Huff goes down. Late flag flies up into the air. And it has been chippy very early in this game.
No question. Two guys, this could be multiple penalties on this play.
The Sunbelt crew sorting things out here.
Well, you can see Perry, he really plants his foot, stays up in it, and then there's all of a sudden there's some bodies starting to fly around here. Player pushed down there. There's a couple on their backs.
After the play was over, there were 2 fouls by the defense. Personal foul, face mask, number 99. That penalty will be forced half of this to the goal. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 48. That foul will also be enforced half of this to the goal. Automatic first down.
Penalties against Jordan Earl on the face mask, Deshaun McKnight on the personal foul. And Sean Clark not happy with the team in terms of penalties. That's now 5 in the game. Early stages, second quarter. And it's now first and goal after the flag. Bobcats playing for a 2-touchdown lead. Hatcher to the end zone, and the pass is caught for the touchdown. Charles Brown. What a start for Texas State.
What a throw by Lane Hatcher. He had a small window trying to knock it down. The defenders just missed swiping it, and he had to deliver it down and away where only his receiver could go get it, got down, because that was excellent coverage. This is just a marvelous throw to get it by the swipe by the defensive end, and then down and away as a defender, really difficult to get to.
Brown was able to beat Dexter Lawson. As you hear there in the background, another personal foul against App State, charged to Hansky Payland. But again, Charles Brown beat Dexter Lawson, who was the one who had the pick in the end zone early in the game. 9-play drive, 48 yards, 3 minutes, 24 seconds. And it is 14-0 Texas State. Bobcats again trying to make some headlines of their own against a team who's made a habit of making them. It's 14-0 Bobcats. You look at the all-time history between the Bobcats and the Mountaineers, the series has been one-sided. App State leads 6-0. But when visiting with Sean Clark, Keith, he noted that this is a much different Texas State team.
Yeah, this is a different Texas State team. He said, that they look a lot different than they've looked and a lot different than the last time that they met up. These two universities got together. And the other part of that is that this crowd's involved in this tonight. It's a good crowd here and great opportunity to jump out. You got a 14-0 lead now. It's a great place. You're kicking off from the 50. This should go through the back of the end zone, so they should get the ball at the 25-yard line.
Coming off the personal foul penalty on the touchdown against Payland. And Shipley kicks from midfield. And that one is near the Katzen Garden. So, Keith, App State down 2 touchdowns, but this is not a team that panics. We saw that against Texas A&M, played in front of a hostile environment, won that game there, saw them nearly overcome a massive deficit at home against North Carolina, got the Hail Mary win against Troy. This is a team that has been there and done that.
Yeah, they know how to do it. They scored 40 points in one quarter before against North Carolina, as a matter of fact. So, this is a team that can do some things. I don't think they'll panic. They're a veteran ball club.
Saw that C on Chase Bryce's uniform, one of the captains, and very proud of it. And a short completion on the swing pass out to Deshaun Davis. And right now, this Bobcat defense kind of playing with its hair on fire as there's another flag in this game, and it came in Texas State secondary.
Yeah, it's gone past being chippy now. Nearly on every play, we're having some late hits.
The play was over. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 52. Half the distance to the goal, second down.
That's Troy Everett again.
You gotta have self-discipline in these type of games. Those are penalties that drive a head coach crazy. It's just one of those things. You want to play hard, yes. Play to the whistle, yes. But you just, that's 3. In the last 3 plays, they've had 45 yards in penalties or 3 personal foul penalties.
This stat is bizarre. A minute into the second quarter, App State 8 flags for 70 yards. That, though, a good pass from Bryce. Up along that far side, hitting Nate Noel. And the Mountaineers are looking for their second first down of the game. First downs right now, 12-1 advantage Texas State.
Yeah, that's a really nice route. Sort of a delay out of the backfield, swinging over the middle. Pitch and catch, make it a more manageable third down. See if the Bobcats can get some pressure here as the Mountaineers spread them out with 4 wide receivers.
Blitz coming. Bryce out to Noel, trying to make a move, cutting it back inside. And Noel with that second move close to the yard to gain, but he's going to come up short. It's 4th and 1.
Now, this is an interesting call here. I think you got to punt this football away. I just don't think you can chance go for it this far deep into owned into the field. And I believe the punt team comes on the field.
They do. You see Noel there, by the way, ran for over 1,000 yards last year. 10 straight seasons App State has had a 1,000-yard rusher. That is the longest such streak in the nation. Howell on the punt to Groves. Short punt, sideways bounce to the 30-yard line. 12:28 to go. First half, it's 14-0 Bobcats.
12:26 to go here, second quarter from Bobcat Stadium here in the Hill Country. 14-0 Texas State leads the Mountaineers of App State. And I tell you what, as a head coach, you bring your team together when you have 70 penalties, and most of these personal foul penalties, and you talk to them and say, hey, we're still very much in this game, but we got to get our heads together and have the self-discipline to keep our tempers in check.
Sean Clark, third season at App State, former offensive lineman for the Mountaineers, played for the great Jerry Moore, came back to Boone in 2016 as an assistant, head coach since 2020, and he's seen a lot of wins at App State, more than 100, and very animated with his team having committed 70 yards with the flag so far. First play of this series is a quick strike to Charles Brown. Tackle right away there by Stephen Jones Jr. And you mentioned Sean Clark, Keith, and he and Jake Spavital, very good friends off the field.
Yeah, you know, they have great respect for each other. I think that's the big key is what they've both been able to accomplish, and you know, they don't talk every week and that type of thing, but have great respect for each other, as you mentioned.
Bobcats are averaging 6 yards a play. The Mountaineers less than 4. Hatcher well protected. Off his back foot, throws that incomplete. There was a flag where Hatcher threw the ball, and this will be a hold against the Bobcats.
Boy, long time as an offensive lineman. He looked in every direction, went through every check. Did Hatcher.
Holding, offense number 73. That penalty is declined. Third down.
They do decline the penalty, but he went through that was just great coverage in the secondary.
I think, Keith, Texas State may have been in max protection, and so you only have so many receivers running routes.
He had nothing vertical for sure.
Bobcats ran a lot of max protection last week at JMU. On third down today, Texas State 4 for 4. Pass rush coming over the middle. Ortega Jones. First down across the 40-yard line.
Well, it's a heck of a route by Jones. He had to get off. They got bumped right at the line of scrimmage. Then got chipped by a linebacker, and he just had to keep working. See the chip right there? And actually the chip got more of the defender than it got of Jones.
Hatcher so far 14 of 19 passing. 139 yards, a score, and a pick. Ortega Jones now on the sidelines. App State offsides. Free play coming. Hatcher steps up, looking, sidelines, incomplete at the 45. And this will mark the 9th penalty of the game against the Mountaineers.
Well, I tell you, it's hard to overcome
Offside.
that.
Defense number 15 was in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Andrew Parker, first-year transfer from Arkansas, second leading tackler on the team, got caught being offsides, makes it first down and 5.
Well, that's 75 yards and penalties. That's 3/4 of a football field. Man-free zone they're showing.
Play action. Open receiver. Banks breaks a tackle to 45. Banks slung down inside the 40 by Ronald Clark. And something we've seen tonight, so many skill players for Texas State have made defenders miss.
Yeah, the tackling has not been good. But it's in the open field as the next defensive back. Those receivers got good mood and they got good speed. So they make a move. You would love to get them close to the sidelines because the sidelines has never missed a tackle.
That's a good point. There's your 12th defender on the field.
Yes, it is.
Gain of 15 yards. Unconventional formation here. Hatcher play fake and throws that one complete. Jeter. And finally pushed out of bounds by Trey Cobb, another one of the captains on this Mountaineer defense. Short gain with 10 minutes to go in the second.
Coach Spavital with 2 backs in the backfield that time. We've seen a lot of different formation. Now double tight ends come into the game.
It feels like we've seen more creativity offensively tonight from the Bobcats than we've seen the first 5 games.
Another unusual formation and one we haven't seen. 2 tight ends.
Jeter, the lone running back. Hawkins in motion. Throw comes his way. Has some blocks. Hawkins makes a man miss again. Ashton Hawkins inside the 30 and down to the 28s.
I'll tell you what, stop and start at full speed. And that doesn't make sense. But watch him. He stops, starts, stops, and starts again. And that's how he gets almost the first down, a player down for the Mountaineers.
Defender down is Trey Cobb. Saw him in the back end of the replay, calling for the training staff to come out. Senior from Waycross, Georgia. Talked about how he's one of the vets for App State tonight. 39th career start, 5th year with the program. Preseason, second team All Sun Belt. And he will go off to the sidelines. This is a defense, by the way, since the opener against North Carolina, that's been giving up fewer than 20 points a game. But right now, Keith, this Texas State offense is moving like clockwork.
And it's been a really good mix. You've seen different formations. They've gone to the air, had success there. First drive, Lincoln Perry was outstanding running the ball.
3rd and 1. This is Jeter up the middle. And a fresh set of downs coming up for the Bobcats. We've seen a lot of Lincoln Perry and some of Jamil Jeter. Note that Calvin Hill is in uniform tonight, but questionable at best after an ankle injury last week. And Josh Berry is currently not with the team this week. 8th play of the drive coming up. Not a score many expected at this stage of the game. Here's Hatcher backpedaling, rolling, looking, and throwing that one into the turf and incomplete. Will bring up second down.
That's just veteran. It's a veteran player. He had pressure coming. Nobody was really open. If he tries to throw back across his body, Brant, you're putting it in harm's way. He just sort of threw it at the ground to a receiver. Even though that it might have not gotten to the line of scrimmage, the receiver was right there, so there's no intentional grounding.
Again, the last time App State lost back-to-back Sun Belt games, first 2 games ever as members of the Sun Belt against South Alabama and Georgia Southern back in 2014. 2nd and 10. Here's a screen. This is Groves. And tackled from behind. On the stop there for the Mountaineers, Marcus Clark. 3rd down coming up.
This is a down where you would like to go pretty quickly. And they will go with 2 wideouts to each side, try to get some single coverage somewhere.
This is actually 3rd and 7. Sun slowly setting here in San Marcos. 4th ever visit for the Mountaineers here to Bobcat Stadium. And they're being pushed right now. Empty backfield. Hatcher, quick throw. Groves inside the 20, but short of the first down. Going to be 4th and a yard here, Keith. You got a lot of momentum going right now. You know a 2-touchdown lead, not safe. Do you play aggressive and go for it?
Oh, well, I think that decision's already been made. These are what head coaches really sometimes have a really difficult time making that decision. But it was a quick one for Coach Spavital. He says, I'm going, and here they go.
They're 4 of 11 this year of 4th downs.
Huge play.
Hatcher, hard count. App State not jumping. Play clock down to 4.
I think we'll see a timeout here.
And it's coming. And we'll take it with him. Under 7 minutes to go in the half, and a big decision awaiting for Jake Spavital, leading 14-0. Again, the Mountaineers have so many playmakers on defense. Nick Hampton is one of them, 4th in the FBS among active players in career sacks. Named prior to the season by The Athletic onto the Freaks list. 39-inch vertical, and he can sprint at up to 21 miles an hour. And so far, he and the Mountaineers have not touched Lane Hatcher. And out of the timeout, the Bobcats electing to go for the field goal on 4th and 1. And Keller splits the uprights in a 3-possession lead for the Bobcats with 6:46 to go in the first half.
Well, just a really nice drive again. It did a nice job both in the air and on the ground in that drive. And well, they've taken advantage of field position, the miscues, the penalties from the Mountaineers, and they've found a way to protect their quarterback. As you mentioned, Lane Hatcher has been upright and had plenty of time to throw the football. And just look at it, the total numbers. It just the total numbers in the game. 35 plays for 202 yards, 16 minutes and 10 seconds of time of possession. And you look on the other side, 49 total yards for the Mountaineers. They have only held the ball for 7 minutes in the ballgame.
You saw there the drive summary, 11 plays, 54 yards. And Keith, you brought up field position. Here's your stat tonight. Bobcats average starting spot, their own 42. The Mountaineers, their own 18-yard line.
Yeah, it's just, that means you've got an 18% chance of scoring. If you take over at the 42, you got somewhere around a 42% chance of putting points on the board.
Kickoff coming with the Bobcats on top, 3 scores. And the ball is put on the ground, picked up at the 6, and the returner is across the 25 and just short of the 30-yard line. Good return there for Dexter Lawson. So you look at this Texas State defense, some of their playmakers. How about the Bell brothers, Keith? Levi and Ben, first-year transfers coming in together from Louisiana Tech, both having great seasons so far.
They have both got high motors. You can just see the 7.5 tackles for losses. I mean, that's in the top 20, top 14 in FBS. And on the other side, when you look at Ben, Ben plays with reckless abandon.
You can't miss him with that fiery red hair. Here's one of the better runs of the night for App State, Datrick Harrington. Good for 8.5 yards. As we go down to Coral, who has more on the Bell family.
Brant, you mentioned some of the tough things the Bell brothers have been through. Levi Bell's father, before he passed, he told him that he needed to get back into football and he was going to see his son play in the NFL one day. Ultimately, Levi found his way to get back into football, first at Tyler Junior College, then as a walk-on at Louisiana Tech, where he took student loans out to pay his way. After 1 year at La Tech, the Bell brothers began to explore some action. Brant, back to you.
Coral, yes, you see it, and you see number 33 in on the action there, Ben Bell. And Coral, you mentioned it, and the tragedy that the Bell family had been through in 2018 when Levi was a freshman at the College of Idaho, an NAIA program, discovered that his father had been diagnosed with cancer, led him to step away from the game in order to be near his family back in Texas. He has since returned home. Dad has since passed, sadly, but the Bell brothers staying together as a family on this Texas State defense. 3rd and a yard. Here comes the blitz. Bryce, complete, first down for the tight end. Across the 40-yard line, Henry Pearson. First down, App State, one Keith they needed.
Yeah, it needed it, and boy, they put a lot on Chase Bryce right there. He is so cool in the pocket. That is a really difficult throw. It's a short throw in traffic and get the first down.
Pearson, a big target, 6'3", 245 pounds. Fresh to the downs. Bryce on the rollout. He's going to step up and run, and Bryce taken down short of midfield.
You would think in the second quarter, with nearly 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, that it wouldn't be a must drive, but you almost get the feeling for the Mountaineers, this is a must drive. They need points on this drive.
Second down. And I believe this is the deepest App State has been tonight.
Yeah, They have not crossed the 50.
Run play up the middle. Across midfield. Ball comes out. Recovered by Texas State. Jaron Morris. All Bobcats here in San Marcos.
Well, Noah was just trying to get that extra yards. Just a real nice job coming in and just gets knocked out. You can see somebody come flying in there and knock that football out. You couldn't see from that angle who it was, but one of the guys came in with the fist and knocked it out.
Nate Noel, the ball carrier.
That might have been Ben Bell coming from the backside.
And the Bobcats have forced their 10th turnover this season. They forced 12 all of last year. But the big question for this team, can they capitalize off of opponent mistakes? Haven't done that very well this year. Perry, another brilliant move in the backfield, turns what should have been no gain into 9 yards, and it's 2nd and 1.
Well, it's a jump stop, kicks it out, and then when he decides to go north and south, he's got that good forward lean. He is difficult to bring down.
And there you see it, Keith. 9 turnovers coming into the game, forced by the defense. Only 17 points off those mistakes.
Got to capitalize.
2nd down, short. Perry jackknifes his way for a first down. 10th carry of the night. Lincoln Perry approaching 40 yards. And time of possession has just been dominated by the Bobcats. They have had the ball for close to 17 minutes. App State less than 10. Do keep in mind the Mountaineers will get the ball to start the second half. 1st and 10. Hatcher, a deep drop, still backpedaling off his back foot, throws, and the pass incomplete for Charles Brown. Covered well down the field by Lawson. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Lawson with just outstanding coverage. Had a chance to pick this ball off. Running stride for stride, a lot of contact here. Turns back, finds it, had a shot at it. Couldn't come up with it.
Hatcher's thrown the ball now 26 times in the first half. Chase Bryce just 9.
Well, it's dominated in time of possession.
Second down and 10 with the Bobcats up 17. Another screen for the tight end, Titus Lyons. Inside the 40, make that Tweeter, Chandler Spites, and I believe that's his first catch of the year. It's a short gain of 4, 3rd down.
If you're Coach Spavital right here, you may be in 4-down territory. You're not going to punt this ball away, and at this moment right here, I think it's too far to attempt a field goal. So that might lead you to think he might be running the ball here.
I think, Keith, a lot of that depends on what happens on this play.
Yep.
Approaching 2 minutes to go as Hawkins goes in motion. Looks like man coverage for the Mountaineers. Here's the blitz. Hatcher running out of time and throws that one away.
Didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. This could be intentional grounding. Was he outside the tackle box? Get a call here. They're waiting on that spot because it did not get back to the line of scrimmage, and there it is. And this will be intentional grounding. They'll have to punt the football away now.
Go back to the point we were making earlier, Keith. Defense makes a play. Offense has to capitalize. The Mountaineers fumble the ball but don't pay for it as Texas State will now punt it away.
Yeah, and that's one, if you're Lane Hatcher, he'd love to have back where he could get outside the pocket and he could throw it, but he was within the tackle box.
First punt tonight for Seamus O'Kelly. Comes deep into the first half. And the returner with the fair catch inside the 15-yard line. And a timeout on the field following the fair catch by Tyler Page. 17-0, Texas State.
2:02 to go in the quarter. 17-0 Texas State. All time in the Sun Belt Conference, the Mountaineers are 26-6. That is phenomenal to play on the road away from home in Boone.
Reason why this has been one of the top programs in the Sun Belt as Bryce is taken down. Texas State's first sack tonight, and it's Levi Bell for the Bobcats on the play.
Well, he just makes a quick move. That first step, gets inside. He's so quick, that lateral move, and sweeps around, and no chance to go anywhere with the football. Not going to take a timeout now. Backed up here. It's going to be inside a minute and a half to go in the half before the snap.
Mountaineers that only allowed 7 sacks through their first 5 games. Bryce pumps, steps up to the outside, goes Bryce to the 10, and the Bobcats have 2 timeouts left. They may think about one here.
It's exactly right. It just happened. Got a chance, if you hold them here, to get a ball somewhere around midfield with a few seconds on the clock. It has been a really, really good first half for the Bobcats.
So, Texas State, the timeout, they have 1 left, minute 15 left. And Levi Bell was, again, the player that was able to get the pressure against Chase Bryce. And we spoke about this, Keith. Both he and his brother Ben, massive additions over the offseason for this team.
No question. That is his 8.5 tackle for loss this season. That is a big number for Bell. Not only some of those are not just sacks, some of those are running plays that he gets tackles in the back, but he's got such a quick motor. I mean, he's relentless. He goes at the snap and goes as hard as he can. And Coach Spavital talked to us. I loved what he said. He says, we got to get him out sometimes to just give him a rest.
Out of the timeout, Bobcats have 1 left. 3rd and 14, App State at the 10. Bryce, quick pass. And the Mountaineers will fall well short of the first down. Deshaun Davis tackled short of the 15. London Harris. Timeout, Texas State with 1:05 left.
I tell you what, there was 3 or 4 seconds went off the clock after this tackle. I saw that. They reset the clock to minute 10.
And Keith, what we have seen tonight from this App State offense, they've been unable to go down the field because the pass rush is simply getting to Bryce too quickly.
Yeah, and the other thing that for me that is the pressure. Just like you said, they're just when the snap happens, it seems like he's having to move quickly and not being able to allow double moves, anything vertical in the passing game.
Hawkins back to return the punt from Clayton Howell. Only 14 punts all season fused in the Sun Belt, but he's been busy tonight. And this will be a false start against the Mountaineers. Good for penalty number 10 of the first half.
They had a lot of shifting, did not get in position.
Kicking team, number 11. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Brent, you've got to allow, when a guy goes in motion to get to a new spot, he has to be set for basically a second before the ball snapped. Didn't have enough time.
And man, to be a fly on the wall. And that App State locker room, you saw the look on Sean Clark's face. I would imagine will be very heated talking to his team at halftime. Punt is away. Hawkins lets it go and now picks it up in midfield. Hawkins down the sidelines. Hawkins is inside the 35, all the way down to the 32-yard line with a minute left. The Bobcats have plenty of time to add to their lead.
Great thing he did. Watch him point with both fingers. That's not a fair catch signal. He was pointing at both fingers to tell his teammates, hey, the ball's short. And then it allows him to come up on the first bounce, and he grabs it and gets an extra 15 down almost to the 30-yard line. Where are they going to mark this? The 33-yard line.
Again, Texas State out of timeouts. The field goal range for Seth Keller, they're already within it. but I'm sure if you asked Jake Spavital, I'll take 7 over 3. Hatcher, well protected, has forever to throw. Finally rears back and goes for Javen Banks. There is a flag. Pass incomplete. There was a lot of contact between Banks and Stephen Jones. And let's see.
Holding, defense number 6. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The biggest concern Jake Spavital had coming into this game was App State's edge rushers. But yet, it feels like Lane Hatcher has minutes in the pocket to get the ball out.
Well, the offensive front for the Bobcats has been outstanding tonight. There's no other way to say it. He's had time to go to his checkdowns. He's had a chance to go across the field. That time he had a good 7 seconds to deliver the football.
First down via penalty on a gain of 10. At the Mountaineer 23-yard line. Here's Hatcher looking, throwing deep and incomplete. Coverage down the field. Dexter Lawson looking for Charles Brown, and this crowd looking for another flag with 46 seconds left.
Lawson did a great job. He got in between. It was an out and up and a double move vertical, and he got his body in between and forced the receiver to try to step back inside. He never touched him with his hands. He used his body to shield it. That was really good defense right there.
Hatcher, 20 completions in the first half. Again, had 13 for the entire game last week. Second down and 10. Hatcher pumps, steps up, throws a dart to the end zone for the touchdown. Ashton Hawkins.
Well, that's on the offensive line. Just brilliant job to give Lane Hatcher all day to find a target. Look at him look right, come back left, then find Hawkins in the middle right there. That's just outstanding work up front.
6 touchdown catches this year for Hawkins. We talked about all his numbers earlier, Keith. If you're App State, how do you lose him on defense? And you could not have scripted a better start to this game than what the Bobcats have written so far. And what's remarkable, Keith, the game started with a turnover in the end zone. Bobcats going in. You felt like that might set the tone for the game. Jake Spavital has talked all the time, do not let the mistakes linger. And this team has been able to overcome that early miscue to the tune of a 24-0 lead.
Well, I think that the defense set that up with a 4th down stop where they got great field position to turn around and put it in the end zone and get that make-up touchdown from when they're picking the end zone. And I guarantee you there are people across the country that are turning on their televisions and going, is that score right? Just because of what App State's been able to do here in the first 5 ball games of the year. Now, this is an explosive offense that scored 40 points in a quarter. So you look at that and know that, and they get the ball, as you mentioned, to start the second half.
Mountaineers were 18.5-point favorites coming in. Squib kick. Rolls to the 15, picked up there, and Milan will not reach the 25-yard line. 34 seconds left. App State all 3 timeouts, down 24-0. And speaking of the word nothing, nothing has gone right for the Mountaineers so far.
Absolutely. Nothing. There's not one positive thing that you can look at right here. Now, I would venture to guess with 34 seconds that they might try to get something here and call a timeout, see if they can find a way to scratch out 3 points before the end of the half.
The Bobcats have run 42 plays. The Mountaineers, half of that, 21. Here's Bryce, steps up, fires a good downfield pass, and the first connection tonight to Christian Horn.
Well, Horn is an excellent receiver. They will try to hurry to the line of scrimmage, everybody getting back. Now they're going to take a timeout. You got 3 of them. There's no sense going to the half with them in your pocket.
30 seconds.
So we've talked a lot about Chase Brice. Second-year transfer from Duke, but began his career at Clemson. Was with the Tigers for 3 seasons, a national championship program while he was there. Who was his roommate on the at home and on the road? Trevor Lawrence, and the two still very tight, Keith, to this day.
Well, can you learn a lot? Yes, absolutely. You got an NFL starter, good friend. They text and talk as regular as possible. Both of them have quite busy schedules right now.
They do. Chase Brice actually was in Trevor Lawrence's wedding. The two do talk as often as possible. The schedule allows, and something that he really admired about Lawrence, the way he carries himself off the field. Out of the timeout, here is Brice. Steps up, and Brice takes another hit behind the line of scrimmage. 23 seconds left, and another App State timeout.
Yeah, just the pressure. I'm telling you. And that's just with 4 guys. I mean, there hasn't been any kind of blitz package, anything else like that. It's been all just the front 4 for the Bobcats.
Nico Ezador, one of the vets on this Texas State defense, has played now in 49 games, more than 2,300 career snaps. You look at this Bobcat sideline, the way they are celebrating and reacting tells a story, but as Keith continues to hammer home, a lot of football to be played.
Well, it is a full moon here in Central Texas, to say the least. Anything can happen in a full moon.
Bright and kind of a shade of yellow and orange on this Saturday night, early October.
Harvest moon.
Second down 11 for Brice in the offense. Off the play fake. Protected this time, and a laser thrown to Horn at the 45-yard line. Got out of bounds. And there's a late flag.
This is one of those that it's just not smart on either side. This is going to move it down, get it close to field goal range.
You see here the completion for Horn. Mills the tackle.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 7, 15-yard penalty.
And they get it against Mills.
So all of a sudden now, still have a timeout in their pocket. And this is going to be inside the 40-yard line of the Bobcats.
Two teams separated by more than 1,000 miles. Getting really chippy tonight. 17 seconds left, still one timeout. App State from the 39, deepest they have been. Brice steps up, dumps it off. Noel to the sidelines and stops the clock. 12 seconds to go. The range for Michael Hughes, according to Sean Clark, 50 to 52 yards. To get that, they would need the 33, 35-yard line.
12 seconds and a timeout here. Some kind of out, but you can stay in the middle of the field.
See Horn lined up against Alonzo Edwards. Brice over the middle. The pass is incomplete, almost picked. Almost intercepted by Torrey Spears. 7 seconds left.
Spears reacted, really saw the ball, used his eyes, comes and gets it. He's never going to have an easier one. Is Spears in his career probably. That's one that he just cannot believe that he didn't put in his pocket.
The opportunities are so few and far between to intercept Brice. Just 2 picks all year. If App State is playing for at least a field goal, they can't use too much time here. Over the middle, caught inside the 20, inside the 15. 1 second left, and the Mountaineers get that timeout in the nick of time after the completion to Deshaun Davis.
It'll be 30 seconds.
Well, you're 3 possessions behind in the game if you go for 2 every time you score. You're looking at this. I think you got to walk out of here with some points and get some momentum because you get the ball to start the second half. I think you take the points right here.
And Keith, I would agree. And you said it. Well, technically, right now it's a 3-possession game. It's barely. That would require 3 scores.
Really
and
hard to do.
3 2-point conversions you alluded to. This field goal here makes it simply 3 touchdowns behind, but needing only PATs. 29 yards out for Michael Hughes, who's 2 of 4 this season. And the Mountaineers are on the board, and maybe a momentum-building scoring drive for App State going into the halftime locker rooms at the end of 2 quarters, Keith. Texas State on top, 24-3.
Well, I think there's a couple of things that jump off the plates. Discipline, self-discipline. The penalties really hurt the Mountaineers. On the other side for the Bobcats, they took advantage of that. Did a great job of blocking up front, giving Lane Hatcher a lot of time to throw the football.
Great start for Texas State as we go into halftime. It's 24-3 Bobcats.
To win away from home. That's why that James Madison score really jumps off the page at me.
Very competitive Group of 5 conference. Halftime coverage continues from San Marcos. Texas State on top, 24-3.
This is just uncharacteristic for our entire team. He said, you want to see adversity? This is it. We've overcome it time and time again this year. Let's do it again. Texas State head coach Jake Spavital said his team needs to not take their foot off the gas. They know what App State is capable of, and he said, don't even look at the scoreboard. We can't take a breath here. We've got to keep going.
The Mountaineers know more than anyone else how quickly leads can disappear, as that's a catch out across the 30-yard line for Amani Marshall. It was just 2 weeks ago, Keith. App State found themselves up 28-3 over James Madison, only to see the Dukes come back.
Yeah, and find a way to win the game. You would think, well, can it be a big play with 14 minutes to go in the third quarter? Yeah, it can.
In the first half, Mountaineers 3 of 7 on third down.
Bobcats only rushing 3.
Here's Bryce looking well protected, throwing sidelines at a catch made by Deshaun Davis. And the protection that time held up very well for the Mountaineers.
A really nice job. Veteran quarterback. Bryce does a nice job. He looks to the left, comes back to the right, finds a wide open receiver. That's a good catch. Went up, high pointed it, came down in bounds.
You talk to Chase Bryce about his offensive line, has all the faith in the world in those guys. The 2 tackles are his roommates, Anderson Hardy and one of the captains on the team, Cooper Hodges. That third down conversion good for 23 yards. First down, Mountaineers trying to make it a 2-score game. Running play, left side, not much room there. Marshall on the carry got hit by Nico Isidore, and it's second down.
They have really slowed down the running game at this point. Nickel package into the game for the Bobcats here.
App State just 24 yards rushing in the game. Blitz coming. Bryce, quick throw. Marshall on the swing pass. And he has played well since coming off the bench. You figure that Sean Clark not happy with the fumble loss by Nate Noel. Goes to Amani Marshall. A good drive so far.
Yeah, and Marshall does a nice job. That little bit of lean, stays low, stays in bound, and gets the first down.
First-year transfer from Wake Forest, making plays for the Mountaineers on their opening second-half drive.
Empty.
6th play of the drive coming up. Bryce steps up, fires, complete horn. Took a shot from Torrey Spears, but holds on. And this has been the best drive tonight for Appalachian State.
Yeah, and they've come out empty, really a formation, the first time that they've lined up a back in the backfield, and they come trips to the wide side of the field.
Good play calling so far from Kevin Barbay, first-year offensive coordinator for App State. The 5th different OC the Mountaineers have had in as many years.
Well, I asked earlier this week, I asked Chase, I said, hey, look, you've been in a few spots, you've had different terminology, different things. And he said, yeah, I haven't had a year where I hadn't had to learn and study the playbook.
Well, you think about it, final year Clemson, OC there. 1 year at Duke, OC there. First 2 years at App State, 2 different OCs. So for
different
him,
offenses, different terminology.
His 4th in as many years. 2nd down and 9. Chase Bryce steps up, slings that one incomplete to the end zone. On the route there for the Mountaineers, Michael Hetzel. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, I tried to run a post corner, just a little bit overthrown. He had some space, but Bryce had to put it in that one spot. Big play.
It looks like Sean Clark changed his outfit at halftime. 3rd down and 9. Bryce, pressure to screen, bounces up into the air, and then hauled in. And that's Datrick Harrington, but he's short of the line to gain, brings up 4th down. You're down 3 scores here, Keith. I know it's early in the 3rd, but now that it's 4th down and they're going to say 4.5.
I think they're going to go for it here. It would really surprise me if they didn't. That's exactly what they're doing.
Great concentration, by the way, on the part of Harrington.
To catch that ball.
Yeah. So here we go. 2nd time the Mountaineers trying their hand on 4th down. Blitz coming. Pass intercepted. Picked off. Returner across the 30. Torrey Spears gets a block. And nobody's going to catch Torrey Spears. Touchdown, Texas State.
Just reading the eyes of Chase Bryce. Right there, just steps right in front. And then it's all about a foot race. Can he get down the field? You're looking back behind you, but just watch his eyes. He was watching Bryce the whole time, Brant. And as soon as he tried to get to that quick slant, stepped right in front. Pick 6.
That is the first career interception for Torrey Spears. And takes it back 94 yards for the touchdown. Bobcats box a snap, and Seth Keller's going to go down. And Texas State settles for 6. Bobcat defense making more plays. The lead grows 30-3. Texas State. Mountaineers' first second half possession, and the Bobcats turn it into points themselves. A 94-yard pick six for Troy Spears, third-year transfer from Iowa State, the son of former NFL vet Marcus Spears, and boy, does he make a play.
Well, he does. He just reads the eyes so well of Bryce, and it just steps in front. He sees the receiver. It's almost like you're tempting the quarterback to throw, because he knew if that ball's dropped down right there, I'm going to step in front. And then he gets an escort to the house. You always love those escorts to the house.
Yes, you do. And for the Bobcats, top 30 nationally in turnovers forced. This is now the fifth straight game they have forced 2 turnovers or more. Ensuing kickoff, Milan Tucker from the 1 out to the 15, and he takes a hit short of the 20-yard line. And let's look at Chase Bryce now here, Keith. And coming into the game, 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, one of just 4 quarterbacks in the country with at least that many scoring strikes and that few mistakes, but a big interception thrown there.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen very often. What a ratio, nearly 8-to-1 ratio. Now it's a 5-to-1 ratio after that. Now they're going to have to get away. Quite frankly, they're going to have to get away from the running game and throw the football now to try to get back in this one.
Back to a 4-score game. 1st and 10, short of the 20. Bryce throws over the middle, and that's a short gain. Good for about 5 yards, under 10 minutes to go, third quarter. A score that not many expected. All Texas State on top, 30-3. A team coming off a 40-13 loss to open Sun Belt play at JMU. App State and that pedigree of theirs, their wins this year over A&M and the Hail Mary over Troy, but they trail by 27. 2nd and 4, Bryce, play fake, heaves it deep and caught in stride. That's Dalton Stroman. Best ball Bryce has thrown tonight.
Now they caught the Bobcats in a blitz, Brant, and when you catch a blitz, you see the corner coming up. It leaves a free safety. Good move to get open. Good pitch and catch. And player down for the Bobcats right at the 40-yard line, trying to get back down the field. But that was a really nice design. Good blocking up front. They caught the blitz. That's a read as a quarterback. You know that's what you're going to do, is you're going to go that direction. They picked up the blitz, giving him enough time to deliver the football.
That's Nelson and Banasor down for Texas State. A 55-yard play there for App State. And for Stroman, a redshirt freshman from Rockingham, North Carolina. Longest catch of the year. And you said it, Keith. You almost have to think about abandoning the run altogether. And when it comes to the passing game, you've got to get vertical down by 27. Mountaineers, a good play there, and again, one that they needed.
Yeah, and again, what you're hoping is that you find a way to get into a formation and catch a team in a blitz, because if you can pick up the blitz and give Bryce enough time, he can get the ball down the field.
Mountaineers looking to get things going on offense, coming off the turnover. Bryce, pressure in his face. It's incomplete. And it's 2nd and 10.
Great coverage that time. They were trying to get a backside throw and just staying at home. I mean, I'm telling you, you just look at it. The defense is staying at home.
Chase Bryce, 19 of 25 so far tonight. Bobcat defense holding strong so far. There's Spears. Had the pick 6 moments ago. Here's a run play. Noel back into the game. Squeezing ahead of the 15-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 4.
Well, I tell you what, the other thing is staffs and offensive coordinators, when they design plays, Brant, they look at the opponent and say, we haven't mentioned this name very often tonight, because they're just not attempting to go after him, and that's Cordell Rogers, because they look at it on tape. He's been fantastic all year. They have gone the other direction basically all night.
Rogers that is nation-leading 4 interceptions. Blitz coming. Bryce throws, caught. Noel makes the man miss, and
he's going to be short.
Yeah, short down to the 12. Needed the 11 and a half, and certainly down 27. You got to go for it for the Mountaineers.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Got themselves in position. Remember the last fourth down, but that was 4th and 5. This is 4th and a foot.
App State 0 for 2 on 4th downs already. And 2 big failed attempts for App State at that. Here's a blitz. Here's Bryce out to Pearson. This has been a great play for the Mountaineers in their offense as Pearson leaks into the end zone. The Mountaineers' first trip to pay dirt, and it's now 30-9.
Well, really nice play fake. Great play design. It draws everybody inside. You fake the dive to the eye back right there, and then you come outside RPO and allows Bryce to make a decision. He can run for it, or he can do what he did right there, just drop it down for the touchdown.
3rd touchdown this year for Pearson. Others came against North Carolina and Texas A&M. 9th of his career. Howell's point after makes it 30-10. 7:37 to go in the 3rd. Bobcats on top of the Mountaineers in San Marcos. You look at Texas State offensively so far as they get ready to take possession for the first time of the second half. Lane Hatcher, solid first half numbers. His top rusher, Lincoln Perry. Top target, no surprise there, Ashton Hawkins.
And you look at the numbers overall, Brant, when you just look at the numbers, all of a sudden the Mountaineers are very much back in it in the numbers. Now they're still 20 points down in the game, but the numbers have squared up. The time of possession has squared up to this point. I think it's 425 in total yards for the Bobcats, 266 for App State. And how about the plays? There was a huge disparity in plays. Now it's 42-43.
Speaking of plays, Mountaineers coming off a 6-play, 82-yard drive, ending in the 4th down touchdown to Henry Pearson. And that, just the second kickoff of the game for the Mountaineers. The only other one came to start tonight's contest. So 7:37 to go in the 3rd. Bobcats on offense leading by 20. And I think if you're Texas State here, Keith, in no way do you get conservative right now.
I don't think you can possibly. That's exactly where I was going, Brent. Amazing. Great minds think alike.
Yes,
because I was thinking in my mind, it says, you've got to stay. If you got to stay in your offense. You can't just say we're going to run the ball 3 times a punt.
Again, we've seen a lot of creative looks for the Bobcats offensively tonight as Perry is stacked up. Keyshawn Brown, Jr. on the tackle, who's ripping for the football. 2nd down and 9 coming up against so many good veteran players on this defense, but worth noting that one of those vets, Brendan Harrington, out for the season for App State.
Well, that's a huge loss, too, as well. What a good player.
Bobcats have been really good on 1st down so far this evening, but only a yard there. Hatcher, quick throw, and a dangerous one, but caught. Charles Brown inside the 40, cutting it back inside the 45-yard line. Hatcher takes a gamble, it pays off, and the Bobcats are into Mountaineer territory.
Oh, boy, I tell you what, that's what you get. You get burned if you take a shot at it, and that's exactly what the App State defense, Stephen Jones Jr., was trying to take a shot at that pick 6.
A player who has 4 career pick 6s, by the way, 3 a year ago.
He was definitely looking for one there, no doubt.
30-yard pickup for the Bobcats, their longest play from scrimmage offensively in the game. Blitz showing, running play. Perry up the middle, breaking tackles. Lincoln Perry, another big workload tonight. 12 carries now, and that one good for 8.
And he just gets stronger as the game goes on. When he makes a decision, he's got that quick burst right when he gets into the hole.
Talked about him earlier, Keith, from Germantown, Tennessee. Was Mr. Football in the state of Tennessee in high school. First-year transfer Arkansas State along with his quarterback, Lane Hatcher, and new university president, Kelly Damphus, as well. 2nd and 2. Perry again getting a spoonful on this drive. Short of the 1st down with 5:20 to go in the 3rd.
Well, you're in that unusual area. 35-yard line drives offensive coordinators crazy because you're looking at, well, do we stay with our base offense or we just try to push this forward for 1 yard and get the 1st down because it's not in real good field goal range.
Bobcats on 3rd down, 6 for 8 of the 1st half. 8 in the box. Perry slices his way up the middle. Lincoln Perry down near the 25-yard line.
Those big guys up front with a good block right there. Just doing a good job getting the push. Good collapse block. Good kick-out block right there. You got to see it. It gets that seam where you can run the football.
And one of the reasons I think, Keith, the Bobcats have been so good on 3rd downs, they're winning 1st and 2nd, making 3rd down play calling much easier.
Yeah, 3rd and 1 is a heck of a lot better than 3rd and 10.
A breather now for Perry off to the sidelines. Run, Jamil Jeter. A little hesitation there in the backfield. Going to fall forward for maybe a yard. Again, the Bobcats playing without Calvin Haley, is in uniform but has not been used tonight. Coming off the ankle injury, no Josh Perry. As a result, it's been Jeter and mainly Lincoln Perry in the backfield.
Isolation at the bottom of your screen. If you get a shot from up top, I'll tell you right there, man-on-man coverage.
That's Marcel Barbie.
Yeah, you look at that as a quarterback, you think, oh, we got a shot.
And it looks like you have a linebacker lined up over Ashton Hawkins. Could be a matchup to exploit. Instead of run, Jeter off the right side, storming inside the 25. One of the more physical runs we've seen from Jeter this evening makes 3rd down yet again manageable for this offense.
And the Mountaineers are really, watch them go to strip this thing. Everybody's going after trying to strip on that football. Every tackler tries to get a hand on that football right there and try to get it out.
Bobcats bring in 3 tight ends, including a player who normally plays at defensive line. Jamar Daniels is checked in at tight end. Motion. Handoff. Motion man. Little short shovel pass. Hawkins squeezing through all the traffic, and he's got a first down.
Boy, he is just such a good runner. Not only is he an excellent receiver, but once he gets the football in his hands, watch him use his ability to move around, his quick step, his vision. Right here, it looks like it's stopped. And he stops and starts and finds that little seam and enough to move the chains.
Considering the opposition, this has by far been the best this offensive line has played.
No doubt.
We'll look at former Bobcat Brady McBride, now a backup for App State, behind Chase Bryce. 2 minutes to go in the third. Bobcats in the red zone. This is Perry bouncing to his left. Turns the corner and got met there by 2 defenders. Dexter Lawson, Nick Ross. Good tackle in space. Remember, Perry's been very elusive tonight. They don't lose him, and it's second down.
Yeah, that one they pushed to the outside. Nice job to feather that toward the sidelines and allow the pursuit to get to Perry.
Long drive for the Bobcats. 10th play coming up. It's consumed more than 60 yards.
And a lot of time on the clock.
More than 6 minutes off this clock. Hatcher seeing something, checking off.
Yeah, he's definitely changing the play.
Talk to Jake Spavital, and Hatcher's ability to check at the line, one of his strengths. He looks, he throws to the end zone, just beyond the reach of Marcel Barbie. Had him open, and it's third down.
What a route run by Barbie. He really sold it to the inside, got clearance to the outside, and Hatcher just put a little bit too much on it. That was a really good route. Sold it to the inside slant, made a real nice move, and then broke it back to the outside, got some separation, just couldn't get the hook up.
I go back to what Jake Spavital told us, Keith. Laid Hatcher in one of the areas in which he needs to improve. Downfield passes like that tends to overthrow receivers. Hatcher looking, now goes middle end zone, incomplete. Barbie was well covered.
Yeah, they were trying to get that. They were trying to get it Hawkins on a drag out of the backfield, like a swing out pass, and it was covered very well. That was a nice play by Hatcher. When he saw that covered, he just basically threw that football away to live to play another down and get the field goal opportunity.
And Jake Spavital sends out his field goal unit. Remember, on the last point after, the snap was mishandled by Seamus O'Kelly. Keller 3 of 4 in field goals this season, 26 of 31 in his career. And it's perfect. 33-10, Texas State, third quarter winding down here at Bobcat Stadium. Another scoring drive for Texas State's offense, 12 plays, 63 yards, ending in a field goal. As you look at the play of the quarterbacks so far, Chase Brice, 21 of 27, 235, a touchdown and that 94-yard pick six. Lane Hatcher, solid night for him. 23 of 33, also 235 with 2 scores and a mistake of his own. We've got more on Chase Brice from Coral after the kickoff. App State was called for yet another personal foul on the point after. And so with that, Bashan Shipley kicks off from the midfield logo. Over 100 yards and penalties against the Mountaineers tonight. And that one is into the fan zone. Coral, what do you have on Chase Brice?
Yeah, Brant, I've been over on the App State sideline, and Chase Brice's composure has not changed since kickoff. Not after that pick six, not at all. He stayed the same, and that's exactly what Coach Clark said. He's the coach on the field, exactly what App State needs in any point in the game. Brant?
That's what you would expect, Keith, from a player making his 31st career college football start.
He's a veteran guy and under a lot of systems, and he knows now, and again, it's going to have to be in the passing game to get back in this one.
Took the Mountaineers down the field for a touchdown last time out. Short completion here to the sidelines for Stroman as the clock ticks inside of a minute to go here in the third.
The Bobcats are allowed 4 or 5 yard pass plays over and over and over. You just can't give up chunk plays right now.
We've seen the Bobcats play aggressively on defense. No blitz here. Brice throws that one into traffic, but it's caught. Good catch near the Mountaineers sideline. Stroman, another grab for the Mountaineers to move the sticks.
He's had a good night. He really goes up, high points the ball right there. That was a really nice throw.
Stroman now, 3 catches. Leads the Mountaineers in yards. Could be the final play of the third. Brice with the blitz coming, throwing deep to the near side. Stroman, and well covered by Cordell Rogers. A rare time we've seen, Keith, the Mountaineers go after Rogers.
Yeah, that's the first time. In fact, that's the first time tonight I've seen that happen. He's just been so good that Brice has spent a lot of time going to his right and away from Rogers.
Second and 10 down. And Harrington in the backfield for Brice. Steps up, protection breaks down. Brice takes off to run. Tracked down from behind inside of midfield, and that will carry us into the fourth quarter. The Bobcats could be 15 minutes away from a statement win. 33-10, Texas State. Your game summary through 3 quarters here from Bobcat Stadium with Texas State on top 33-10. And you look, Keith, while the Mountaineers have more total yards, it's that extra turnover and the 12 penalties that have really told the story.
Well, I think the 12 penalties are a big one, and one of those turnovers turned into instant points with a pick six. So that's a huge separation in the game. And the offense started now here in the fourth quarter for App State is starting to get a feel for itself. It really didn't get going until late second quarter.
Amani Marshall, first play of the fourth, is good for 4 yards to bring up fourth down. And App State down 23. No hesitation from Sean Clark. Bryce looking, throwing, complete, first down Mountaineers. Just off camera there, the pass was caught by Christian Horn, who's been relatively quiet tonight.
No doubt. And he's a guy that can make things happen.
Horn, of course, caught that Hail Mary against Troy 3 weeks ago off the play fake. Bryce looking, fires into traffic. And what a throw there to Horn. A lot behind that pass from Bryce. And they move the chains again.
Nice rollout. Really good pitch and catch right here. A good location on that throw.
Not a team that panics under pressure. Bryce looking, fires complete again. Pearson turns a corner. Henry Pearson inside the 5, still running. Spears brings him down to the 3.
Well, I tell you what, this was a fastball. I mean, Chase Bryce let that go. He knew he had a target. And he threw a rocket in there.
Mountaineers playing at a different speed now, trying to make up a 23-point deficit. Marshall, no gain. Maybe a yard to bring up second and goal. We've said it time and time again. Opening day at The Rock, North Carolina in town in front of a record crowd. The Mountaineers put up 40 fourth quarter points. 4 touchdowns in that quarter thrown by that man there, Chase Bryce. From the pistol, Bryce, play fake, end zone shot, and it is incomplete. Deshaun Davis pass in his direction. Jalen Morris on coverage. More back and forth between these two teams, and it's third down.
And they go to a little bit of the jumbo package, take 3 wide receivers out, a couple of tight ends, and an extra lineman come into the game here on third down.
No doubt, 4-down territory. 2 plays to get a touchdown for App State. Look for the tight end, Pearson. Bryce looking, Pearson, open, touchdown, App State.
Well, they come in that strong package, and then they just do the play action off of it. That was a really nice design. Second time we've seen play action out of jumbo package, and find one of the tight ends open. Good pitch and catch for the touchdown.
And App State will make the decision to go for 2 here. Pearson's second touchdown catch will come off to the sidelines. They get it here. It gets down to a 2-possession game. Bryce on the 2-point try. Back of the end zone. Horn. He's got it. And the Mountaineers not going away quietly. Sean Clark's team firmly back into the game. Early stages, fourth quarter. It's now 33-18 Bobcats.
13:02 to go here in the fourth quarter. 33-18, Texas State out in front. One of the things when you prepare during the week, folks, you look at things and you get real surprised. Stunned when I got here today because I had not found this in my time this week preparing for the game. App State has 83 wins. You see the names on that list? And before that, that's pretty impressive.
The only teams with more: Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, Oklahoma. So again, despite the fact the Mountaineers have been down all night long, never count this team out. Coming off a very quick 11-play, 75-yard drive. Ending on the touchdown to Henry Pearson.
Texas State anticipating onside kick here.
Two-score game, 13 minutes left. And the kick from Hughes, pooched up into the air, and the Bobcats able to get on it.
That's a real nice job of going back, getting yourself in position, and Hawkins just drops right down on top of it and just smothers it for the possession. It's not great starting field position, but the ball's not turned over.
And I get back to the same point, Keith, we brought up in Texas State's last possession. Yes, you have a two-score lead, 13 minutes to go, though. That's eternity. And you know what the Mountaineers are capable of on offense. You can't just play conservative here if you're Texas State.
Yeah, you got to stay in your game plan, what's been working. They've had success running it, but they've also got to throw the football.
First play on this possession, Perry off that right side. Maybe a yard will bring up second down and 9. 16th carry of the night for Lincoln Perry.
Some of the other part is Lane Hatcher, the quarterback, you've got to know where the time clock is, the play clock, and make sure when you get the play in that you do take your time while you're doing this, but you stay in your base offense.
Good look there, Tyler Bird. Another vet for the Mountaineers on defense. Hatcher looking for a screen, and it is caught. But this isn't going to get much. In fact, this is going to lose yardage. The backside screen there for Perry, and now the Bobcats are faced with third down and long.
Well, it's a play that worked really well earlier in the game. They went back to it. Nice job of recognition, wholesale changes, and a nickel package into the game for the Mountaineers here.
And this is where those edge rushers can really come in and wreak some havoc for the Mountaineers. You got Hawkins in a slot. Wide to the right, not pictured, Marcel Barbie. Here's motion. Hatcher, deep drop, over the middle of screen. 30, tumbling down to the 32. And I believe that the first 3 and out for Texas State tonight, and it is.
Well, and I think it was set up. Perry just runs into one of his linemen here. It gets knocked down. I think if he had a chance to make a play there, he had a chance at a first down. But it does go 3 and out. It's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Mountaineers.
Only takes 2 minutes off the clock as well. O'Kelly back to punt. Tyler Page back to return. And the fair catch at the 30. Mountaineers the ball down 2 possessions. 10:44 to go in the fourth quarter from Bobcat Stadium. Game summary for you. Bobcats struck early and often in the first half, building a 24-3 lead. Bobcats then got a big play early third quarter, 94-yard pick six, Torrey Spears. Bobcats were rolling, but the Mountaineers have found a way to climb back into the game. At that point, down 30-3, but a couple of touchdown passes. Chase Brice to his safety blanket. Henry Pearson, the tight end. And with those two scores, it's now a 33-18 game, 10:44 to go in the fourth quarter.
The yardage now in favor of the Mountaineers.
First play of this drive, little swing pass, Noel and Spears, the tackle. And again, we've seen App State play very well in the hurry-up. Now, I'm sure that's the approach here.
Oh, no question.
Trailing by 15 points. Brice now 28 of 36 passing and over 300 yards. Back to throw again. Does so to his left. Noel tight ropes the sideline. And they're going to mark him out short of the first down.
It does get out of bounds, though, to stop that clock. The clock will start back up after the ball gets placed on the ground.
Mountaineers 5 of 12 on third down. Big one here, 3rd and 2. Brice goes quickly to Noel, stumbles, but able to get the first down across the 40-yard line.
Just a quick release. There's really no chance to get there.
Noel up to 8 catches now in the night. That one moves to change. App State trying to stay in the game. And Brice, under pressure, throws, complete. Tyler Page. And how about the grittiness of Chase Brice with pressure in his face?
Boy, I tell you what, I don't know how he gets out of this. They have a shot at him. Bell has him. Can't wrap him up. Steps up and gets a completion. Positive yardage on that play instead of the negative sack.
And both Bell brothers able to make contact against Brice. 3-yard gain as we go to the final 9 minutes. App State trying to mount a comeback. Brice throws right, caught, tight end, and close to a first down. On the catch there for the Mountaineers, Eli Wilson.
Flag back in the backfield. See what this call is.
Defense number 54. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Personal foul against Levi Bell.
Now all of a sudden, down at the 35-yard line.
Winds up being a 20-yard play on the completion. And then the flag, and you saw Bell get his hands up. With a flag thrown, the Mountaineers now operate from the 35-yard line. Here's Brice looking, steps up, protection breaks down, and down goes Brice. Dominic Ratcliffe and Levi Bell make the play, and for this defense, it's second sack tonight.
Now they were trying to get vertical. Every receiver that time was 20 yards down the field. That takes some time to develop, and the pressure just got to him. Nice job right there getting a negative play. Now, you don't have to get it all back on one play here.
7th play of the drive coming up for this Mountaineer offense. Down 33-18. Brice taking a shot deep and incomplete for Horn. Mills on coverage, just overthrew him. That'll bring up 3rd down and long.
He tried to get all of it back on one play. He found that single coverage, the right guy to go to, just put a little bit too much air under it. This is 4-down territory, no doubt.
Because of that, Keith, if you're App State, you don't have to play for all 14 yards right now.
You're exactly right. 4-down linemen going to rush 4 this time are the Bobcats.
Rush comes. Brice. Incomplete off the hands of Marshall. And he could still be running. Fourth down comes up now, 4th and 14.
Boy, Chase Bryce wanted pass interference that time. Did he get a piece of him right here? I did not see a hold or anything that would prevent that from being caught, but now a huge play here. Crowd comes to their feet.
If you're the Bobcats, a stop here doesn't necessarily win the game, but it puts you a lot closer to doing so. Umbrella coverage here, prevent Texas State. Bryce going deep, end zone, no chance. Turnover on downs, App State, and the Bobcats take over, leading 33-18.
Well, that's a huge defensive stop right there for Texas State. Chase Bryce that time had to step up, get away from the rush, and just put too much air, and he was covered. There was nowhere to really go with the football. Now you can, in this scenario, get away from your base offense and run the football.
How big has fourth down been in this game?
It's gigantic.
Texas State's defense got a turnover on downs in Mountaineer territory. They got a 94-yard pick six in a fourth down play, and that stop puts the Bobcats closer to one of their bigger wins in recent memory. Perry, first down, slips a bit, recovers, and settles for two. You think about the biggest wins in program history since the move up to the FBS, certainly their first game ever. And the upset over Houston qualifies. Since then, Keith, I would say in terms of conference wins, you have to go all the way back to a Thursday night late in the season and a win over Arkansas State in 2014 that made the Bobcats bowl eligible. Since then, big wins in conference have been few and far between.
Home or road.
And a chance to win here in front of the seventh largest crowd in program history, more than 25,000. And here's Perry. Ball security paramount if you're Texas State. Under 7 minutes to go.
App State takes a timeout. Got to start using them sometime.
And we will step aside. 6:55 left. Bobcats nursing a 15-point lead. Spoke about that 2014 season for the Bobcats. A linebacker of that team, David Mayo, now in his 8th year in the NFL, currently playing with the Washington Commanders. fellow former Bobcat Aaron Brewer, a starter right now for the Tennessee Titans. These Bobcats on top of the Mountaineers in the fourth quarter. A pass complete across midfield, racing down the sidelines, inside the 20, down inside the 15, Ashton Hawkins. Bobcats in the red zone with 6:40 left.
Oh, the guts of a daytime burglar to throw this ball, because this is almost a pick six going the other way. As close as you can get, Lane Hatcher gets it out of his hands, and then Hawkins does the rest of it. I like the way he comes back in bounds and forces the defender to tackling, not running out of bounds, keeps the clock moving. Now you can really slow play each play now.
You said it, Caden Sullivan jumped that route. It could have gone the other way, but it doesn't. And Hawkins picks up 42, over 100 yards for the third time this year. Perry slung down for limited gain to the 12. 6:01 to go. Clock has stopped. And the Mountaineers spend their second timeout. 33-18. Bobcats on top. And again, you talk about this App State program, Keith. They came into the Sun Belt. Speaking of that 2014 year back then, the success that they have had in the Sun Belt Conference been remarkable.
Well, they've been the premier program. I mean, you just look at it. The conference championship leads through Boone, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And there's no question about it. They've been an incredible team to watch. They've been one of the most fun teams for me to watch. And you can just see their success. They have an .826 winning percentage in Sun Belt play, 4 conference championships, and they joined the league in 2014, 8 years ago.
Goes back to why we've been saying if the Bobcats hold on, this would be a statement win for them against a program like Appalachian State. 2nd and 10, Perry. A lot of moves in the backfield. And finally able to make the tackle there for the Mountaineers. Sullivan.
Last time out for the Mountaineers. You're going to run the ball here. Yes, you would love to get 6 if you're Texas State here and really put this thing away. 6 points would just put it away. But, the other thing you would like to do is no timeouts left for the Mountaineers now. So if you run the ball here, you can run the play clock down and take a timeout, kick the extra point, and make it a 2-possession game, but it's 2 possessions and 2-point conversions.
Mentioned the crowd tonight, 25,613, the official number. You look at the top 5 crowds all time in this venue. In St. Marcus, 3 times over 30,000, make it 4. Eyes to see me there. 4 times over 30,000. Today over 25. And this has been a great atmosphere tonight, Keith. One that both teams were looking forward to playing in front of.
And it was a good atmosphere. And the crowd did help the Bobcats, no question. Especially early in the game. They got great momentum early in the ball game.
3rd and 9. Mountaineers now out of timeouts. Hatcher to throw. Takes a shot. If you're the Bobcats, you can live with that, as it will bleed some more clock. And as Keith was going through the math of things, if you settle for a field goal here, it still makes it a 3-possession game.
Yeah, and again, App State can't stop the clock, so Jake Spavital can get right next to an official, which he is right now, and he will, at 1 second, he'll call timeout, and that'll take it down about 5:10 to go in the ball game.
Texas State led 24-3 at half. Mountaineers mounting a bit of a rally, but a turnover on down to the last possession, and since then the Bobcats have bled off quite a bit of clock. They've forced the Mountaineers to use timeouts, and this timeout taken by the Bobcats with 5:12 left. So far on this drive, 6 plays, 42 yards, and 2.5 minutes off the clock.
Yeah, in the big play, the play of the game so far is Hatcher's pass to Hawkins, which was, an eyelash from going the other way for 6. and Hawkins takes it down, gets it in the scoring zone, and that really separated here in the fourth quarter. When you look at the numbers, total yards in the game, 334 for Texas State, 357 for App State, and you just look at it, it is so close, 63 plays to 62 plays. The score, the only real separation in this game is the scoreboard.
A reminder about what's at stake tonight. Bobcats angling for their first ever win over the Mountaineers, who have not lost back-to-back Sun Belt games since 2014. Keller from 36 yards out, and it is a 3-possession lead. The most accurate kicker in program history has given the Bobcats a 36-18 lead. Fourth quarter winding down. Here's Marcus.
That looks like a cramp to me.
Levi Bell has made such a big impact in this game all season long for Texas State. And he's being looked at right now.
Cool. That looks like a cramp to me.
Levi Bell is Clark. NAIA football there, then the JUCO route, then La Tech. And now his first year at Texas State. Guys very in tune with how to stay in top peak physical form. First and goal after Bell goes to the sidelines. Here's Bryce looking end zone behind Noel. Second and goal, 3:39 to go in this one.
Yeah, just trying to get a little swing out of the backfield, trying to catch the linebacker. Had him, he was open, just a little bit behind him that time.
Bryce will break the huddle. Remember, his tight ends have been his favorite targets in the red zone. Bryce rolls out, hits the tight end who stumbles a bit, and down to the 5 is Wilson. Third and goal, 3:30 left here for App State.
That's a good effort to try to get out of bounds, at least stop the clock for a moment.
The next pass from Bryce will be his 50th tonight. He looks, he throws to the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Miller Gibbs. Fourth down for the Mountaineers. Any hope they have left rides on this play.
There are times you have to rush because you're down 3 scores, but I just think he was off rhythm that time. I mean, because everything was such a rush to get it snapped. Now with the incomplete pass, fourth down.
And again, it has been this down that has told a huge story tonight. Blitz coming, Bryce. And the receiver falls down, Noel. Another fourth down stop for this defense. The Bobcats take over, 3:14 left. And they are 3 minutes and change away from their biggest win in the Jake Spavital era.
Well, Noel has it. He's trying to cut back to the inside. He might have had a shot to plant that foot. His foot just goes out from under him. And he is down. And an opportunity to put a bow on this one.
Mountaineers can't stop the clock, out of timeouts. And they are on their way to a 1-2 record in the Sun Belt. You think about the driver's seat in the East right now. James Madison, Coastal Carolina in that position. Mountaineers now 2 conference losses. And here's Jeter to the outside. One of the few times we have seen Nick Hampton on a tackle tonight for App State. As we go to the final 3 minutes. And Keith, we talked about this in the very beginning tonight. Bobcats have played so well at home, but can that translate to the road? Because next week they go out to Troy to face the Trojans.
Yeah, and another outstanding Sun Belt program, and that is a difficult thing. But boy, this is a real momentum gatherer. A statement for me is to rebound from the way that Texas State played last week at James Madison. Now you got to give James Madison a lot of credit, but complete turnaround this week.
Jeter again, able to get out of the end zone, preventing a safety. And the next stop for the Bobcats will come inside of 2 minutes to go for the Mountaineers, Keith, on a bye next week. So a chance to really look back at this game, rebound, and get ready for the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at that, you're at the halfway point. Good time to have an off week. Put yourself in position. I mean, I believe they're going to be 3-3 going into that off week with the position right now. So, that's where you got to refocus. I mean, you still got 6 ball games in the regular season left.
Could be the Bobcats' final offensive snap. Jeter again, ball security again, everything. The only thing the Bobcats truly won out of this. Holds on to the ball at the 5. And the game clock to 90 seconds to go, so the punt will come inside of a minute. And the Bobcats on top 36-18. And again, Keith, you think about the momentum swing of the game, and it came so early. App State got that interception to the end zone. You thought took the wind out of the sails for the Bobcats, but it was that 4th down stop by the defense on the ensuing possession that really seemed to set the tone for Texas State.
It did, and it gave them great field position in Mountaineer territory, and I would believe that Coach Spavital will call timeout here right before the end of this to run as much clock as he can, and I think there's the timeout right there.
Spoke about how well the Bobcats have played at home. They have upcoming home games against Southern Miss, Arkansas State, and Louisiana. Have to go on the road to Troy, South Alabama, and ULM. And obviously, Keith, the magic number for Texas State is 6, trying to become bowl eligible. And a win in a game like this is a huge step in that direction.
I don't think there's a doubt about it. It puts you. It's a halfway point. I mean, you just can't help but evaluate. Both these coaching staffs will evaluate. Hey, we're at that midpoint now. Texas State doesn't have their off date next week. They play, as you mentioned, but it's coming, and so you just get an opportunity to put yourself in great position. And there's some happy young men. This is a good win tonight. This is a win that will be noticed across the country.
Seamus Sokelly from his own end zone. And this is Page on the return on the run. Page out inside the 35-yard line with 42 seconds to go. Sean Clark and this Mountaineer team will fall to 3-3. Again, what a year it's been. What a start for App State. You think about the first 4 weeks of their season.
Wow.
That wild shootout versus North Carolina. The week 2 win over Texas A&M in College Station. Game day in Boone. The Hail Mary against Troy. But tonight, tough one to the office for the Mountaineers. 12 penalties.
A 28-3 lead that they didn't hold.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at a lot of things. It's been a roller coaster.
Season of ups and downs. But again tonight, the penalties, the 2 turnovers, and the turnovers on downs for them tonight for App State. All those miscues is too much for App State to overcome. Bryce over 360 yards passing. That pass is caught by Stroman.
He's had a big night.
Really has. 14 seconds to go. App State looking for at least one more play. Spears right there on defense. Final play of the game. Bryce in zone for a touchdown to Stroman to make the score look a little bit more cosmetic, but it's Texas State. A statement win. Bobcats topple the Mountaineers 36-24. A stunner here in San Marcos.
Well, I tell you what, you go back, you explained it really well. The game changed early. The momentum got on the Bobcats side, and the Mountaineers just never could get anything going their direction after the first part of the ball game, fell behind 14-0, and Texas State just really held on from there.
Bobcats again the win over the Mountaineers, and your player of the game, Texas State quarterback Lane Hatcher tonight, Keith. 26 of 36, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, and overcame the early mistake in the end zone.
Yeah, and he really did a nice job of managing that throw right there, one of the best we've seen for the touchdown. And then he had that guts to make a couple of big throws that changed the outcome of the game without a doubt.
So, Lane Hatcher, tonight's player of the game. And for Hatcher, was 0-2 in his career against App State prior to tonight with 4 picks against 2 touchdowns. But tonight, a far different story. And picks up his 3rd win as Texas State's starting quarterback. Momentarily, we'll hear from Bobcat head coach Jake Spavital with Coral Riggs. As we await his arrival, Keith, a look at the upcoming schedule. We'll start with Texas State.
Well, you look at Texas State, like I said, they got a tough one. You got to go on the road to play Troy. Again, another one of the teams that when you look at the Sun Belt year in and year out, then come back home where they played so well. Southern Miss was leading earlier today in that ball game, and then they finally get that bye week before we get to that last third of the season for the Bobcats.
So we now go down to Coral, standing by with Jake Spavital. Coral.
Coach, you've told us time and time again you knew what this team was capable of. They just had to get out here, have a short-term memory, not let those mistakes be catastrophic. How was that on display tonight?
Yeah, no, I'm just proud of how our team responded. You know, like they're a tough group of men, and they show up every single day. And regardless of the circumstances, they care about each other. We had constructive talks all week trying to figure out how we can find a way to win because we know what we're capable of. And this is a tough game. It really is. And just the resiliency of these guys coming back. We played complementary football. We haven't really put a complete game together, and we finally did one. You know, both sides and even special teams, we all had our ups and downs, but we worked together through the entire game. I can tell you I can't be more proud of this group of men right now, and we're sitting at 3-3 right now going into our 7th game, and we needed that one big for our program.
Offensively, you said you needed to be creative today to get this App State defense off balance. They were creative, to say the least. They went out and capitalized on everything. How do you evaluate the offense today?
Yeah, no, I thought the first half we managed the game well. We did a lot of unique things. We got the ball on the perimeter. We screened them. We took our shots when it was necessary. Our kids made plays when it was necessary. We got to be better at trying to run the clock out and be more efficient, but we did manage a lot of things in that second half. But just overall, the creativity and just the execution side of it is something that we've been preaching all week, and they went out and did it today.
Since you've been at Texas State, you said these guys needed to get experience playing together. They've done that. They've had a lot of reps together. How did you see that hard work, that consistency and resiliency come to fruition today?
Yeah, you know, it's always been in there. Like we had our leadership group this weekend, and they called each other out. They want to win, you know, they do, and they want to change the narrative of this program. And that's the first time we beat App State in the history of our school, and that's a really good team. They beat A&M a few weeks ago, and you know, like this is going to be a great momentum swing for us because it shows what we're capable of doing. And just really proud of the men, how they have each other's backs, they have constructive talks, they don't get into their feelings, they go out there and execute.
Congratulations on the win.
All right, thanks, Cora. Appreciate it.
Guys. Back to you.
All right, appreciate that, Coral. Back up here in the booth, Brant Freeman, Keith Moreland, Texas State. Again, Keith, a statement win as they knock off the Mountaineers tonight.
You know, you look at it, and Coach Spavital was talking about it right there. You have a group of guys that's come together with the portal and everything else that's out there. It takes a while to get together. He has been telling you and I all year that this is a team that can beat some people. They've had some struggles. But tonight, they put all three of that together. They played good on the special teams. They took advantage of a couple of mistakes. A pick six was a major part of this game. And then offensively,